This is Talking Voiceovers. We interview professionals of the industry in South Africa to inspire each other and all newcomers. Our guest today is Keke Matlou. She'll be telling us the 3 essential building blocks of a successful voiceover career. Welcome, Keke. How are you doing? It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you. I'm good.
To quote your show reel, you're a businesswoman, a news broadcaster, a voiceover artist, a mother, a travel show presenter, and you also have an events management company and a cosmetics line. Please share your whole story with us. How did you come to do all those things?
I sound crazy. Like, how many hours in a day does she have? I think actually the first thing that I started doing out of all those things that you mentioned is the voiceover. That was in 2001. That's when I actually did my first voiceover. I didn't even know what voiceovers were. How it started, I was doing a shoot and I was interviewing somebody, it was an ad for a cosmetic company. And while we're shooting, the producer said to me, have you ever done voiceovers? You know, I like the tone of your voice. And I was like, I don't know what that is. I have no idea what that is, but I'll do it, tell me how. So he said to me, yeah, just come to the studio. Let's do a few scripts and see, maybe you've got it, maybe you don't, but let's see. So, I mean, I didn't even know where to go to for any kind of training. So all I did was watch television and listen to radio and try and pick up on, what these voice artists do. So when I got there, I was like, okay, I mean, I'm as ready as can be. And then this guy comes out of the booth, this guy called Chilulemba. And he comes out of the booth and he's like, hi, I'm Chilulemba. And I was like, hi. And I was like, you sounded great. And he's like, okay, yeah, you here to do a recording? And I was like, I'm here to do something. I don't know. I mean, I'm here to sort of see if this is my thing. And he just took me aside and he's like, well, just watch your, like your vocal gymnastics, your inflections, and watch this and, pause, really pause and take deep breaths. And like he gave me pointers in like 5 minutes that actually made the world of difference when I got inside the booth. So yeah, recorded. The producer sent my voice clips to a few clients. And a week later, I did my first official voiceover.
That's great.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how I started that in 2001. And then I've just carried on with it for the longest time. Yeah, I mean, here we are in 2021. We won't add up the years. It's been a while. Yeah, still doing it, still at it, and still learning.
Did you study acting for that?
I actually did a course whilst I was doing my Bachelor of Business Administration. I was doing my BBA, and then I was interested in presenting, but I wasn't sure what aspect of it. Is it the travel show, your magazine shows, your continuity presenting? Is it doing news? What is it that I wanted to do? I wasn't sure. So I saw that there was a course that you could do at the SABC, and it was being done or facilitated by Tracy Going. Who else? Just remember Tracy because I was just like, oh, she's so amazing. But yeah, Tracy Going. And then there were a few other people. So she did news, and then there was somebody that did continuity presenting, and then somebody did. So everybody who specialized in their field would take us through it. And so I did that course for, I think it was like a, I don't know, 2-month course. And then you'd get your certificate saying, you couldn't present, it was as simple as that. And it was lovely because, it wasn't theoretical stuff. It was, let's take you through the practical aspect or the practical nature of being a news anchor or being a continuity presenter. So I thought that was amazing, especially back then. And I'm talking 1999. Yeah, 1999. Then I got into doing ads, and then I started my event management company, which is something I was just always interested in. I was interested in doing events because I was like, people get paid for this. People get paid to do events. Like, you can actually make money from putting together, beautiful events. And so I got into it, and I started doing sports. I started doing a lot of Pro 20 cricket. I started doing international incentives with corporate companies. So I got to travel a lot and do lots of conferences and product launches outside of the country. So yeah, that company's been going strong right up until today. Well, going strong in I mean, yeah, it's going, but it's going really well, because when you compare it to what other events companies are going through right now. And I think that's because we've decided to, we're doing a lot of stuff that has to do with content creation for virtual events. So that's kept us going. We had to adjust things. We never used to do virtual events. So
Right, yeah, you
yeah,
have to adapt to the times. How has the pandemic affected the way you work? Do you have a home studio?
I do. And I was probably the busiest I've ever been last year in 2020.
Fabulous.
Yeah, because I do so many things, my time is kind of limited when it comes to each one of them. Voiceovers, I sort of neglected. I had a portable one, setup that I did, and I used to travel a lot with my mic and, be able to squeeze in a voiceover or two here and there. But because we were at home and I had a home setup, I was able to record every day. And a lot of people don't have home setups, and therefore, those jobs sort of came our way, the people with home setups. Yeah.
So tell us about your home setup. What equipment have you got and what is your surroundings like?
Oh, not fancy at all, let me tell you.
But that's great because it shows that somebody as experienced as you can still get away with not fancy. That's good to
No,
know.
not
Tell
fancy.
us.
So I told you that I met Chilu when I stepped into studio the first time in 2001, but he then became that person that I called, because he said to me, give me a shot anytime you need pointers or help. And I was like, best you believe I'm going to do that, because I know nothing about this industry. And so I started calling him to ask him questions, and he became my mentor. He became somebody that literally took me through every aspect of this VO journey. He actually gifted me with a mic, but then now I've gotten, another one that's a bit more, how do I say it without upsetting him? That's more modern. But he was always encouraging me to get a home setup. He really, really pushed me. So in 2019, I got a home setup, and then 2020, all of this happened, and I guess I was ready. But what he said to me is the most important thing is to get a really good mic. Everything else you can sort of build, even if you put like whatever padding, or you get into a room, or you get into a cupboard, or you get in, you put pillows around. He's like, it doesn't matter what you sort of do out here, the most important thing is your mic. So I have an Apogee Hype mic, which is really, really good. My setup is very basic. It's small. But it's more about the mic than anything. And having software, and yeah, I use Twisted Wave, plug into my laptop, put my cans on, record. I have an eye, and I've got also a bit of a little setup that's got like a bit of foam around it. So yeah, very basic, but it's good.
And the room that you record in, is it padded or is it just a normal bedroom with lots of cushions in?
Lots of cushions, normal bedroom. Well, it's because it's my office as well. Haven't been able to sort of really deck it out, but I am looking at getting a proper setup. But it's not cheap. It really isn't cheap. So I'm gonna take my time. I want like a Andrew Sutherland, Chilulemba setup. That's what I want. So I'll save up for that. I'll save up for that setup.
So you say the Chaotica, I'm assuming you've got the Chaotica eyeball. You mentioned the eyeball. I believe that takes out the reverb quite well. Is that what you find?
It does. It does. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if you just have that, and you've got my office is quite small, and it's very quiet. So you've got that, you've got your mic, you've got your cans. You're good. You're good.
They say when you do what you love, you never feel like you're working. Is that how it is for you?
Yeah. It really is. Except that, now that I'm getting older, the body is like, excuse me, hello. But the spirit is still enjoying. I enjoy everything that I do, from the events to the voiceovers to the presenting. News I don't do anymore, just because it was a little bit restricting in terms of me being able to travel often. And in 2019, I remember it became a really big issue because I did 13 countries in 1 year. So you must know that I was hardly around, and I think they were like 2 clicks to firing me, I'm sure. So it was one of those things. They said to me, they want me to do news on the breakfast show. And that's obviously a really big show. And so I had to be a little bit more committed and around. Yeah, I let go of that. Everything else I've kept. I enjoy the stuff that I do. And my amenities range, that's like a really big one for me. It's my scent that I've developed. It's a product that I supply to hotels and spas, and those are the people that I deal with for my events. So everything, there's like a thread in everything that I do. So yeah, I'm enjoying it all.
And how do you juggle everything with voiceovers and traveling? And, how do you have time for everything?
I don't know. I don't know, prayer. I don't know. Do you know what? I do work long hours. I've always heard people say, work smart and not hard. I don't know what that means. I work hard and I work long hours, and that's the only way I've been able to juggle everything. There is only one thing that I've left, and that's news, like I said, and the travel show, obviously, because we couldn't travel, but hopefully that's something that comes back. I love doing it all. And so I make time to do it all.
Do you delegate as well? I suppose that would be the work smart part of it. Do you delegate other people to do the small stuff?
Well, yeah. I've got a lovely team. So with the event side and the content creation, I've got brilliant editors. I've got, lovely coordinators. So yes, I've got a team that works with me, and that certainly, alleviates a lot of the pressure. But I do like to oversee a lot of things. I'm learning to let go more and more, but I do have a great team. So you sort of are able to sit back for the most part.
If you're enjoying this episode, give it a thumbs up. Back to voiceovers. Tell us some of the tips that Chilu gave you.
So Chilu was, breathing is everything. And I think we forget that because when you are nervous, it sits here. So your delivery sits in your throat. Well, for me, at least it does. So breathing is everything that it is everything, whether you are presenting or whether you are doing news or whether you're doing a voiceover. It's all about how you breathe. And so he just took me through just, exhaling and pausing. And I have this thing where I just want to get it over and done with, so I speed through the stuff that I do. Like I want to sort of go today, and this is this, and you know what I mean. I want to sort of just get it over and done with. So it's the breathing and the slowing it down and the listening to direction. He said to me, listen to direction, listen to what the director is asking you to do, because then you're just delivering your own thing. Listen to what it is that's required of you. And then he said, try and do a little bit of the inflection. So a little bit of vocal gymnastics where you're coloring in from one word to the next. Let there be a difference between, so you don't sound monotone. So yeah, you sort of try and give every word life.
And do you find that that would be different in presenting on screen or talking on the radio? Would you not do that as well?
You do, but I mean, for instance, me doing news versus me doing conversational or soft sell or hard sell, it's all different, right? So doing news is very factual. So actually being monotone works to a certain extent because you can't be emotional while you are telling various stories. You have to sound unbiased. Whereas if I am doing something and it's for Specsavers, I'm going to get people excited and I want to tell them to do this, and there's a promotion and this and that, and you know what I mean? My voice is different. If I'm doing the FIFA World Cup and this and that, and I want to excite people, then my delivery is energetic, and it's, if I'm talking about COVID and this and that and how COVID has impacted, my voice again has to be different. My delivery is different for every single read that's required of me.
Do you find that trying to sound conversational or that you're not reading while you are in fact reading is more difficult when you're reading than when you're talking? That was very convoluted.
I get you. I get you. Yeah. It is because, you have to sound like you're having a conversation with a friend, but then it has to also sound like it's professional. And then it also has to sound like it's something that can be on television or radio. So it's one of the trickiest ones, but you sort of, yeah, you train yourself to do it. And that's the strangest thing, right? Because we shouldn't have to train ourselves to do a conversational read. It should just be, natural, right?
But
It
it's
should.
difficult.
But it is. It is difficult. Yeah, you have to sort of tell yourself that you're having a conversation with a mate, and this is how it would normally go, but just add a little bit of that professional element to it. Just tough. It is.
Which of the different genres of voiceovers do you like the best?
The quickest. Your 30-second promo reads are fantastic. You're in and out. No, I like your aspirational corporate reads, your 2 to 5 minute reads where you literally get into it, and especially if it's a good topic. Especially if it's a good topic, if and I do like a lot of stuff on during Women's Month, and it's about empowerment, and it's aspirational, and it's encouraging, and that's the stuff that I like. That's the stuff that I like, because you can feel it as you read it, and you get involved, so your emotions are in there. And a 30-second promo read is also quite cool. Get there and you just like chop chop chop, done. What I haven't done that I would love to do, I watch the crime channel a lot. I'd love to be that voice artist that sort of says, this is the story, and Michael was waiting, and da 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 da, and then this is what happened. I'd love to do like a crime VO, that narration. I'd love to do that. Have never done it, so hopefully it's still coming my way.
Is that something that you can ask your agents to look for you, to find clients that can give you that?
I'm sure it is something that I can have a conversation with my agent about. I've never actually spoken to my agent about what I like and what I don't like, what I'll never do. Maybe because I don't have a lot of dislikes. But yes, certainly that's probably a conversation I can have with my agent, to say, just be on the lookout, and maybe I could put together a little clip that, my agent can put out there. Who knows? Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Does all your work come through your agent, or do you find work through your general network as well?
The bulk of it comes from my agent, but I do have a lot of people that contact me directly. And what I do is I put them in touch with my agent, because I promise you, you just don't want the admin. Well, I don't want the admin. I don't want the admin of chasing up on scripts and then chasing up on money.
So then you would definitely recommend having an agent, because in your case, it's it's the best.
100%. 100%. I recommend having a mentor, having an agent. I promise you, have a show reel, have a mentor, have an agent. If anybody takes away anything from this entire interview, I promise you, it is have a really good show reel, have a mentor, have an agent. The equipment can come later if you don't have, the money to do all of that. But those 3 things were my focus. Got the mentor first. The mentor then introduced me to my current agent. I put together voice clips, and that was it. Yeah, the show reel, the voice clips, that's your marketing tool. Your agent, that's your vehicle. That's who goes out there, gets the job for you, and, does all the admin. The mentor is who advises you and, is seasoned in what they do. So they advise you every time you feel like, and they also help with building your, what you know and what you don't know, and educating you. So 3 very important things according to Keke.
I will make note of those. A mentor is a bit like a coach, but maybe on a broader level.
Right? Yeah. 100%.
If somebody is not quite as lucky as you to just meet Chulu coming out of the booth, how would you recommend getting a mentor?
I can think of 2 ways. There's probably, finding out who is really good in the industry and who's been around, and reach out to them via social media. If that doesn't work, then maybe when one attends all these workshops, or, has these virtual Zoom voiceover workshops and what's it, booth camps, and you get to meet different people in that platform, in those spaces. So I think that there are a lot of places to meet mentors. it might just be a bit difficult to get somebody to dedicate that amount of time, but it's actually not even a lot of time. It's just that phone call to say, listen, what do you think about this opportunity? Or I was thinking about doing this, or is this a good idea? Or how can I prepare for this? Or it's just to get somebody to just bounce things off. And it doesn't take a lot of time to help somebody out.
And an agent, if you're just starting out, that sounds like something more difficult to obtain.
So I actually don't know if my agent would have considered me if Chilu hadn't introduced me. I wonder if it's because of who introduced me. My agent has been in the game for a really, really long time.
Sorry, let me just open the door.
No worries.
Sorry.
It's all good. Life happens. That's what we're realizing. Life happens.
Life happens, yeah, even on the Zoom meetings.
Yeah, so I was saying that I don't think my agent would have ever taken me on if she didn't think we could build together. But I certainly had clips that showed what I could do, my capabilities, and also just variety as well. So I think she thought there was something there. I think it can be as simple as, Googling agencies, sending an email with your show reel and saying, have a listen, let me know if you're keen to represent me.
And also, if you've already got a mentor, then you can get them to recommend you. That would be a good way to do it.
That's it, for sure. Three
That's it.
things: show reel, agent, mentor.
And the show reel,
Yeah.
well, you can go to any audio engineer studio and get it done.
Absolutely. I think people think that it's more difficult than it actually is, maybe because they just don't know where to start. And that's fair. So start by putting together some sort of show reel to show your abilities, and then reach out to an agent and say, listen, have a listen. Tell me if I'm any good. And maybe that agent might say, listen, go to these workshops, fine tune this and this and this, then come back to me afterwards. You know what I mean? You just never know. So, and then that's how you get out there.
And that's why we're here, so that people get to find out how it's done.
That's it. And it's a fantastic platform that you've created. Thank you.
Thanks. Where can our audience reach you?
So if you're talking about like potential clients, then it would be through my agent, which is Into Talent. I think they're great. They've been in the industry forever. I think it's like 40 years now. I don't know, something ridiculous like 40 years. And then social media. So I've got an Instagram account, which is Keke_Matlou. So you can find me on there just to see what I'm up to and maybe to reach out. I've got a lot of people that do send me DMs on both Facebook Messenger and on Instagram just to get advice.
So do you prefer working in a booth with a director or at home behind your mic self-directing?
It really doesn't make a difference to me. I think if I understand the direction, so if I get a call from an agent, because I do both sort of equally. So if somebody calls me and says, listen, here's the script, this is the kind of delivery that I want, it's 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 30 seconds. What I do is I generally take it and I do like 3 different takes, and that's what I send through. And usually one of them is okay. One of them is what they're looking for. As long as I understand what it is I'm supposed to do, it really doesn't make a difference whether somebody's directing me or not.
And you've got enough experience already to have a good idea of how to do it, so you don't necessarily need a director. I guess.
Yeah. Look, sometimes you think, oh, I'm experienced, I've got all the experience, and you just do something that, completely wasn't asked of you. So, no, we can never be too cocky and think that, we know it all just because years have gone by. So, yeah, open to direction. I want to give you what you want at the end of the day.
That's the whole point. Make the client happy. That's true. Do you do the editing of your audio, or do you just send them a raw recording?
No, ma'am. No editing. Nope. I don't even want to get involved in any of that. I just do my recordings and I take out all the fluffies, all the fluffs and the whatever boo-boos I've made, and I send it off to them and they do it. I do have an editor who is part of my team that can clean it up and add music to it. And, if that's something that's required, but I don't do it myself. I don't want to get involved in it. I really don't. I just want to do what I'm supposed to do and send it off to an editor who does what he's supposed to do and send it to clients and we're done. I don't want to be jack of all trades in that aspect.
But at least you take off the bits where you made a mistake and the extra breaths and the bits of noise.
100%, yes.
And do you ever do any work on the online platforms for overseas? You know, like everybody's talking about voices.com and voice 123 and things like that.
No, I don't. And I don't know if I have any interest in doing that. Maybe it's because I don't know enough about that space, but for now I'm happy with where I am. I'm happy to just get my script from my agent and from client, record, send it off. I haven't explored all those other avenues. Maybe I should.
But you've got enough work coming from all sides and all directions, so it's not like you need to go and search for more.
Thank you, God.
What are your words of advice for someone starting out on their journey?
You know, I think this is one of those professions that everybody's curious about, everybody's excited about, and everybody wants to be a voice artist. I think it's almost like when presenting was a thing. Now being a voice over artist is like a thing. I think that if it is something that you're really excited about, do the homework, find out what it's really about, find out what aspects you're interested in. There are different agents out there that could represent you. Put together a show reel, join workshops, find out what workshops exist that you can be a part of to get more information. It's amazing because there is so much information right now. When we started out, like I said, I had nowhere to go. There was really no information. 2001 was a long time ago. There was literally no information, and I battled to get anything outside of watching ads on TV and listening to them on radio. And right now there's so much at your disposal. There's so many places to plug into. So do it, plug into those places. Why not? And enjoy it. It's a beautiful thing. It really is. It's such an awesome profession. You get to play. That's what it feels like every time you step into the booth. You're playing. So enjoy it.
You once mentioned that South Africa should have its own Voiceover Awards ceremony. Is this still something that you're planning on getting started?
We had a workshop, and there were guys that came from Cape Town and Joburgers, and we sat down and we spoke about this industry of ours, and we spoke about what we can introduce to it that hasn't been done yet. And it's shocking that we actually don't have like an award ceremony. You've got the Liberty Radio Awards, you've got the this for television and that, but nothing that is specific to being a voice artist, a voiceover artist. And so when we spoke about that, we were like, actually, this is something that we should look into. They're like, Kekes, your department, you're the one who's doing events and a voiceover artist, fuse the two and sort of see what comes up. And I spoke to Chilu about it. I sat with him going through the different categories and then I got really busy. Remember I said 2019, I did 13 different countries. So it was something that I was like, I have to park until 2020. And then 2020 happened, and so it just didn't quite come together. But I think that if it's going to be something maybe that's now on a virtual platform or virtual stage, still we can do an awards thing virtually, but it's something that needs to happen. So I'm happy to sit down and start putting something together, maybe possibly for 2022, 2023. So anybody who wants to sit with me and, package it and put it together, and, anybody who wants to bring anything to the table with regards to whatever, sponsorship, skills, whatever it is, happy to meet with them and let's make it happen.
Let's get the conversation started and get the ball rolling. Thanks, Keke. Thanks a lot. We'll see you around. See you on the airwaves.
See you on the airwaves. Cheers, Gail. Bye.
Ciao. This was Talking Voiceovers. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss any of the following episodes.